Fail to plan and you plan to fail. You've probably heard that very famous saying before. In this video, I'm going to talk you through exactly what you need to do to be really effective at creating your 90-day action plan. G'day, Ben Futrell here, co-founder of Max My Profit, and what we're all about is helping you build the business you imagined. Now, if you imagine having a business that was more successful, more profitable, or even more fun, then maybe it's time to put some time aside to work on your business rather than in your business. And what I'm talking about is spending some time doing some planning. Now, I do remember a very, very famous saying by Abraham Lincoln. He said, give me 6 hours to chop down the tree and I'll spend 4 of those 6 hours sharpening my axe. And that's what planning is all about when it comes to growing a business. So in this video, I want to talk you through what I've learned after working with business owners for the last 20 years, helping them create action plans, not business plans, but action plans to get things done that result in great results in their business. So my first tip when it comes to creating action plans is start with a 12-month goal. Think about where it is you want to be 12 months from now and set some goals around things like revenue or sales targets, profitability. Think about what your business might look like. How big will it be? How many employees will you have? What products and services will you offer? What areas will you be in? What distribution networks may you have? Start to just dream a little bit about what it will look like in 12 months. And you need to start with the end in mind. Whenever you head somewhere in the car, you never just drive off and hope for the best. You put the destination into your GPS, or you look at your destination on a map first, and then you start to work out how you're going to get there. And the exact same thing is true in business. The only way to achieve your goals is to work out where it is you're heading before you even set off on the journey. Now, having said that, one of the things that I do see when people start setting these goals is they set unrealistic goals or things that they're unlikely to be able to achieve in that 12-month period or any given period for that matter. And so it's really important that you use some sort of a system to check whether or not your goals are realistic. And I like to use the SMART acronym. Now, you may have heard of this acronym before, where SMART, the letters in SMART actually stand for specific. So your goal's got to be specific. M is for measurable. So you've got to have a measurable goal that has KPIs attached to it. A is for achievable. So you want to make sure that your goal is actually achievable. Your R is then for realistic or results oriented. So your goal needs to be realistic and it also needs to be results oriented. And the T in SMART stands for time frame. Now we're setting the time frame of 12 months. So if your goal doesn't have the ability to be ticked off on all 5 or 6 of those areas, then you need to make sure you go back and revise your goal and check that it is SMART. Now, I like the acronym to add ER on the end. I learned this from another business owner, an entrepreneur in the last few years. He added E on and said it's a smarter goal, and the E was for it's got to be emotional. So it's got to give you an emotional reason as to why you're looking to achieve the goal. And the R was then for reward. So what reward were you going to get when you achieve the goal? So set a smarter goal is really, really important. Now, once you've got your 12-month goal set and you've done the smarter test to make sure that your goal can tick all of those boxes, it's time to break it down into easier, manageable chunks. And you know what the old saying is, how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. Now, the same thing is very true when it comes to achieving goals in a business. So what I suggest you do is you take that 12-month plan or goal or any of the goals that you've set, and you break it down into quarterly goals. So think about if that's where you're going to be in 12 months, where will you be in 9 months? Where will you be in 6 months? And then finally, where will you be in 3 months' time? And by doing this, it enables you to really break that goal down into smaller bite-sized chunks. And then once we've got that smaller chunk of quarterly goals, we can then look at breaking them down a little bit further. Now, to break your goals down a little bit further from the quarterly goals, we need to set some KPIs that we can look at achieving in the quarter and then break it down into weekly goals. Now, here's a good thing with a 90-day plan, and this is why I like to teach people how to create a 90-day action plan, is that every single week you need to be achieving something towards the 90-day goal or the 3-month goal or the quarterly goal, whatever you want to call it. Every single week, you want to be tracking your progress against KPIs, and there's 13 weeks in a 90-day period. So if you take your 90-day goal and you break down the goals into 13, that should give you 13 KPIs or 13 milestones that you can use as a guide as you go through the next quarter. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say you set your sales target as $130,000. And yes, I'm using round numbers because I absolutely suck at maths. But if you had $130,000 as your sales goal, then every single week of that 13 weeks, you'd want to be hitting a $10,000 goal or KPI. Now, if your business traded 5 days in the week, then each week your daily goal would become $2,000. Now, I know what you might be saying, oh, but Ben, my business is seasonal, or, I get more sales on a Wednesday and a Thursday than on a Monday and a Friday. Whatever it might be, that's okay. It's up to you to set these goals. I'm just giving you an example of how you go about breaking these down. Now, the good thing about doing this is we're not going to wait till the end of the year to discover that we haven't achieved our goals. We're going to know by the end of the week whether or not we are on track. Now, if we're not on track, this is when we get the opportunity to review and correct what it is that we're doing. So, for example, if our goal was to get $10,000 in sales and we only got $8,000 in sales this week, it tells us that we are $2,000 behind. Now, we can say, yep, that was because of X, Y, Z, and we have a very valid reason as to why that happened. Or we can look at that circumstance and go, okay, well, what we need to do is we need to change our marketing, or we need to get better at converting our leads into sales, or we need to follow up more quotes, or whatever it might be. We need to upsell more. You can start to implement other strategies to make sure that you are hitting that daily goal, that weekly goal, and then, of course, ultimately the quarterly and annual goal that you've set for your business. Now, the next thing that I really encourage you to do, and one of the things that I learned about growing businesses is that nothing great was ever achieved alone. And if you really want to strive for success and hit those goals, you've got to get everybody on board. So whilst you're thinking about setting your 90-day action plan, everybody in your team also needs a 90-day action plan that feeds into your results as well. So you need to be thinking about what is it that each person in your business needs to achieve to attribute to you achieving your 90-day plan. Get everybody really, really clear on what it is that you're looking to achieve for the quarter or for the year. And that way, every Monday or every Friday or every single day, whatever it is you want, you can actually do a check-in with your team and see how they're tracking with their KPIs, because ultimately that's what's going to affect whether or not you achieve your KPIs. The other thing it does is it keeps everybody really, really focused. And this is key when you set a 90-day action plan, is you want to make sure that you stay on track. Now, one of the key fundamental errors I see people making when it comes to growing their business is getting easily distracted. And it's easy to do these days with social media and amazing opportunities. And you might watch a YouTube video that gets you excited, or go to a seminar or attend a webinar, and all of a sudden you've got a new idea that you want to pursue. And that's normal. And the reason for that is because you're an entrepreneur, and by your very nature, you get distracted easily. So what you need to make sure you do is that when new ideas come in, if it does not help you achieve your target for that quarter, if it's not on your action plan for that 90 days, you park it on an ideas list. And then when it comes to developing your next 90-day action plan, you go through that list and you choose what is a priority. Remember, the things that you put in your plan to achieve for this quarter were important enough for you to put them into the plan. So they've got to be important enough that they do not take a backseat to some new wacky idea that you've just come across, because it's going to happen and you need to know that. So it's really important that you stay focused and you look at just achieving the goals that you have set. Now, on that note, when it comes to setting your 90-day action plan, we quite often will bite off more than we can chew. To go back to the old elephants, that example of saying, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Well, in a business, it's exactly the same. If you try and take on too many goals or too many tasks in a quarter, you will fall flat on your face. You'll get behind. You'll get despondent. You'll become depressed about your progress. And the reality is that may demotivate you from succeeding. So it's really important that you're realistic in the amount of goals that you set. So not only do your goals need to be realistic, but along with the amount of goals that you set. My general rule of thumb with most entrepreneurs is to just pick 3 key areas that you're going to work on for the quarter, and that's it. Don't overload yourself with any more than 3 key goals. So if one of your key goals is to generate more leads through your website, then that's one goal. You might have another key goal where you're going to increase your average dollar sale, and you might have another key goal where you're going to increase your conversion rate, for example. They're the 3 key things that you're going to be working on, and you'll pick strategies around those 3 things and just focus on those and make those your mission for that quarter. If you start taking on too many goals, trying to achieve too many things, you will be disappointed. 90 days or 3 months is not a long time. And, you've got to be really mindful of that. When it comes to setting these 3 major goals for the quarter, ask yourself, at the end of the 90 days, if I achieve X, Y, and Z, will I be happy? Will I have felt like I've achieved something? If the answer is yes, then those goals are all you need for that period of time. Now, my final point to this, and as I said before, I love that acronym of SMARTER, where make it emotional. So you've got a strong why as to why you're going to get out of bed each day and drive towards these goals. But the R is for rewarding yourself. And it's really important that you reward yourself and your team as you achieve your goals. It's very important because what happens is quite often we see businesses driving, and they never take a time out or a break to be able to reflect on what they've achieved and then to celebrate those wins. So make sure you take time out for you and your team to celebrate. It might be a lunch out, it might be a reward that everybody gets. Maybe it's you might want to go get a massage or play a game of golf, take a day off, whatever it might be for you. It's really important that you set the reward. Now, I encourage you to set the reward at the beginning of the quarter so you can continue to remind yourself as you go through the quarter and you look at your KPIs, why it is you're doing what you're doing. All right, well, hopefully that's helped you understand how to go about building your 90-day action plan to build your business and achieve your goals. If you want help with this, by the way, the team here at Max My Profit is all about helping you build the business you imagined. Head across to our website, maxmyprofit.com.au, to learn about how we help you build your business. See ya.